Yo, welcome back to the SHU Program. This is going to be episode 4 of EJ and Jay's podcast here on the SHU Program. We got a couple things to get into today. This was going to be a little bit shorter. I know we kept y'all the last time when we were talking about all the Star Wars properties and all the Marvel movies that were coming out in 2021. But welcome. This is 2021. This is the first podcast of the year for EJ and Jay. On the channel, and we got a lot of good things to get into today. And I know, Jay, you're excited because I'm excited. I actually got the text from Jay the night before because he watched The Mandalorian when it first came out, and something really big happened in the last episode of The Mandalorian to finish off this season. So we're gonna get into that real quick, but it was game changing, Jay.
Yes, it was, man, bruh. All the feels, all the emotions came out, and I remember. So I don't know, man. Sometimes I keep forgetting that it comes out. It was coming out Thursday night or Friday night.
It came out Thursday, Friday morning at midnight.
Yeah, and I forget. Like I'll wake up late at night sometimes and just to watch some shit. And I was like, wait, the new Mandalorian episode is on tonight. So man, I rushed it and put it on, man. And I just, I was so sad. I was like, damn, everybody's probably asleep right now, getting ready for work. But I sent you that text. I was like, wait till you see this, man. Big kudos to Dave Filoni. Big kudos to Jon Favreau. Man, what an episode! What a way to cap off the season. It was great TV, and great to end 2020 on with the entertainment season, bro. I don't know if we get Luke Skywalker. I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, back in the episode. Back in Star Wars. The true Luke Skywalker is back, not the hermit, milk drinking guy that we got in The Last Jedi. We got the true
watered down version, right?
Exactly, the one that we wanted to see in The Last Jedi, but we didn't get. And man, I'm just glad that we got that. I was very surprised. I thought, if you want to go ahead and recap the events on that, and I'll just add on. But,
gotcha. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my view of everything that happened. So obviously I got the text from you at 4 or 5 in the morning, but it was I'm on Central Time, so I'm ahead. But got the text from you, kind of woke up and I was like, what did Jay text me 4 o'clock in the morning for? So I didn't even really look at it. But then when I woke up at 9, I looked at it again and I saw you talking about The Mandalorian. And the thing is, so I didn't get it ruined. I hadn't heard anybody say anything about it. But I did see an article about 2 weeks before the finale that said, what if they bring Luke back, or who's going to be the person that Grogu reaches out to when he was trying to find a Jedi Master? Right. And so when you start thinking about stuff like, okay, well, Ahsoka's already there. We don't know if Mace Windu is dead. We don't know what happened with Mace Windu, but I doubt it's Samuel Jackson. And, you start thinking about, okay, well, who can it be? Who's still alive, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, what if they actually, what if they brought Luke back? And someone in the article was like, it's a possibility. They can just bring somebody to play Luke and then, show him going to get Grogu or whatever. And I was like, that would be cool. I didn't even think about it. I read it and I was like, it is what it is. Right. Then when I got that text from you, I was like, okay, well, it's got to be somebody major. So maybe it is Samuel Jackson. Maybe it is Luke. I'm trying to think about who it could be. So I'm watching it. The episode was great, by the way. I would say, as far as finales go, that was probably easily, even if you take away the Luke Skywalker stuff at the end, that was just a really good episode in general for The Mandalorian. With the I'm forgetting the name of them right now. Is it the Dark Troopers? What are they called?
That's right, the Dark Troopers.
Dark Troopers. That whole scene and showing actually how powerful they are, because we saw them fly out and get Grogu or whatever, but then to see basically it took everything the Mandalorian had just to stop one of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so going from that, seeing him defeat that one, and then letting them all out of the airlock, and basically you think, okay, well, they're out in space now, so they're done.
Right.
But somehow they survive. I mean, I guess not somehow because they're robots, so they don't have to breathe in space. So they come back and get back on the ship, and you're like, okay, well, this is it. You know, they huddled up in that one area. Dark troopers coming after them. Nowhere really for them to go. My boy Giancarlo Esposito, you know, he's there, and he basically is waiting for them to make a mistake, and he's, you know, waiting for the Dark troopers to come because he commands them. So he think everything Gucci, everything good. Next thing you know, X-Wing comes in. And so first of all, when you see the X-Wing, there's only one person you associate with the X-Wing.
Right.
If it's not Rogue Squadron, you're thinking Luke Skywalker. So I see the X-Wing come in, and then my girl Gina Carano, she was like, well, what's one X-Wing gonna do? And I was like, oh, so y'all trying to set it up. Y'all trying to play me. I was like, okay. So I was like, bro, I acted like those reaction videos, like I did that shit in real life. Like I was like, oh shit, like I'm up here tripping. And so he gets out, and you see the black robe. We obviously know Return of the Jedi. He's got the black robe on, and so you see the lightsaber come out, and it's green. And so I'm doing my checklist. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things that have to be right for this to actually be Luke and not somebody else. So checklist number 1, black robes, cool. Checklist number 2, it's got to be the green lightsaber. Green lightsaber comes out, cool. I'm like, all right, what else can we look for? Next thing I'm looking for, the glove on one hand and not the glove on the other one. Right. I see the glove on one hand, so that means the dude got his hand cut off. So I'm like, all right. Then when he gets up to the second level, and we see him do the force choke thing and crushes the Dark Trooper, I'm like, there's only 2 people in the whole history of Star Wars that really even do that.
Right.
That's Anakin, that's Luke. So I was like, all right. So, and if you look back at the scene, and I think a lot of people were saying this too, that whole fight scene of him fighting all the Dark Troopers is just like in Rogue One when Vader came on the ship at the end of the movie. Right. He was killing the people in the movie. It looked like eerily similar. When I saw all that, bro, and then he took his robe off, took the hood off the robe, I lost it, bro. I'm not gonna say I cried, but I will say it was a little misty, just a little bit, just a little bit, because like you said, bro, we've been waiting for this version of Luke. If you think about it, if you didn't read the books and you didn't watch like certain things on Star Wars, you never really got a chance to see Luke at his full power. Like we didn't get a chance to see it in the new movies. He was playing all I don't want to be a Jedi and you know all that crap. So getting a chance to see him kind of just like go off, this was like our first live action of seeing him do that.
Right. And we got that moment kind of stolen from us, in The Last Jedi. That was, that's what we were waiting for at the end of Force Awakens. We thinking that we're about to finally see, Luke at, full power, Jedi Master. And, we didn't get that. And he went out. The way he went out is just we can go all in that. But, man, it's just very redeeming for Star Wars as a whole. And I just I teared up, bro. I mean, I teared up. I had to. It's just, that was amazing.
I don't know about you. In my top 5, if I'm gonna go with characters, Luke is obviously number 1 to me. Like he's always in my number 1. I've had Obi-Wan Kenobi right after that. Then I had Vader right after him. So those are like the top 3. But for me, I guess the idea of what Luke Skywalker was supposed to be, which we never like we didn't really get until the show. Like that's what I've always imagined Luke as, is what happened in the show.
Right. Luke is probably my favorite too. He's probably my favorite, and is probably, if he's not my favorite, it's maybe him or Anakin. But yeah, man, it's just I'm just glad. I first of all, it took some balls to go back and just go ahead and bring Luke Skywalker in this, because
easy.
Right. So because when I was watching that whole scene, Dude, talk about expectations, man. Subverting expectations. That's what Rian Johnson was supposed to be doing. He wanted to subvert everyone's expectations, apparently. But he subverted them with, plot holes. This is how you subvert expectations. I did not expect Luke Skywalker. I did not, I didn't ask for that. I didn't, it's not that I wanted that. It was just, I did not expect that. And I did not expect Luke to be in this episode. And even when that X-Wing came in and I was like, that has to be Luke. I was thinking, that's the same thing you were thinking. Luke is the only one we know with an X-Wing, by itself or whatever. And he's coming out with this dark cloak. But then again, I'm like, come on now. They're not about to do this. Nah, come on. No. So I'm thinking everybody else that it couldn't, anyone but him, like, man, maybe this is Ezra. They already introduced Ahsoka into the series. We don't know where Ezra's at right now from Rebels. Exactly. So maybe this is what it is. It's setting up that, or, I wasn't thinking Mace Windu, to be honest. And, right now that's still a rumor, but there's like rumors going around that maybe Samuel Jackson may be coming back and the Mace Windu character may be coming back, and I think he's even played with the idea. But man, I don't care if I know people are kind of complaining about the deep fake, the CGI wasn't that good. I don't give a damn. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. I'm just happy that it was good enough. Was I convinced? I was convinced it was Luke. That's all I needed. He wasn't there for the whole hour long episode, but it was good. And even before then, man, the whole episode was great. The whole scene with Moff Gideon and the fight scene with him and with Mando, that was great. It was just the dark troopers. Like you said, he opened up the hatch and the troopers went out into space. And at first I was kind of worried. I was like, wow, they're gonna go out that way. Okay, all right. But when they came back, I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? So man, this was great episode. Even with that, it ended with it ended off on a kind of cliffhanger as well. Not just with Luke taking Grogu, but what's going to happen between Bo-Katan and Mando now that Mando is officially the owner,
Darksaber.
Exactly, of the Darksaber. And people were making jokes. They were like, there's either one way it's going to happen. Either Mando is just going to give it to her and she's just going to take it and cheat the rules, or they're going to fight to the death or whatever. And a lot of people are bringing up the fact that for some reason this rule was not implemented in a show in Clone Wars, but this is something new. So it seems like they're kind of what's the word? They're kind of when you take away something from the story, they're kind of rebooting that little story arc of, with the right to wield the Darksaber or whatever. So I'm interested. I like this. I'm like where it's going, and we also get a teaser at the end of the episode. Boba Fett goes back to Jabba's palace and kills kills the guy.
But it's crazy. I still haven't seen that part yet. I turned it off after because I was so hyped, bro. I was like, that's it. Like, I cut it off. I didn't even watch the rest of it, bro. But I'm gonna go back and watch. I read about that part about Homeboy going back, and then obviously the whole title of the Boba Fett. Right. The book of Boba Fett or whatever.
Yeah, the book of Boba Fett. Yeah.
So I got to go back and watch that little 10-second, 15-second teaser, whatever it is. But yeah, I heard about that.
That was cool, man. I'm curious what they're going to do with that, and I was worried for a moment because I was worried because they were trying to. It seemed like at the time, it was people were making it seem as if this was the end of the Mandalorian, and that Boba Fett would not be, Boba Fett would be of the official season 3, and he would be continuing the series from that point on. So I was a little bit worried. I was like, and you already know, like I Boba Fett's cool, but I'm not crazy about Boba Fett like that. So,
right, and Mando's already proved to be interesting enough by himself. You don't need Boba Fett really. Like, right. That was just a nice little add to the season for me. But I'm gonna watch it though. But I'm glad, like you said, that they separated them and it's gonna be 2 actual different shows. Right. I will say there's 2 things before we move on. First point, if I was to give this episode a grade, I would give it a 95, and I don't give it 100 because I guess we do have to give him. I'll have to give him my critiques. I'll say. So one thing I did notice, which you've already mentioned, is CGI kind of lacking a bit. I mean, me and you talked about this in other movies before. Obviously, we've seen Samuel Jackson in Captain Marvel, and we've seen what was it? Hank Pym, old boy that played Michael Douglas,
and
in
Moff Tarkin and Rogue One.
And Rogue One, yep. So we've seen some like really good ones, and I will say, okay, so there's a reason, I guess, and I'm kind of jaded because I have always been of the assumption that if you're gonna bring Luke back in, that's not a bad thing to do, like the whole CGI. But we have somebody that's a young Luke in real life, and that's Sebastian Stan. He's in Disney. It ain't like he's a call away. Like all you got to do is say, Sebastian, come down, put the robes on. Mark Hamill's already said, you look like my youngest son. So he was just like, I mean, to me, that's a no. I was expecting, I guess I was hoping when he took the robe off, it was going to be Sebastian Stan. That's what I was hoping. But then again, I see why they did it, because you get more from actually looking at Luke's face and seeing Mark Hamill. You're like, damn, this is really Luke Skywalker. So I do understand why they did it. But in my opinion, if they ever bring Luke back in the future in the series at all, they just need to get Sebastian Stan and just, if they want to add a little touch to his face or whatever, but Sebastian Stan should be Luke going forward. That's just my opinion.
Right. And actually, I feel what you're saying. I think there's a rumor. Well, there's another rumor that because of that scene and the what I'm trying to say. We're trying to get this word out. Because of that scene and how the response from it. That's what I'm trying to say. The great response from that has put in talks of doing a Luke Skywalker show or a movie, and apparently Lucasfilm has talked to Sebastian Stan about taking the role. So and I also read that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni made the choice not to use Sebastian Stan because they just didn't know if it was the right thing to do at the time and moment. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So it was it could have, if you put, it could have went both. It could have went any way. If you put Sebastian Stan in there, would it take away from the Luke moment? Would it have taken away from the Luke moment, and the folks would have been just Sebastian Stan, or would it, or would have got the same response? So, but now, I guess they can see that, hey, we want to see more Luke. We want to see the Luke that we all expected to see after Return of the Jedi, and I hope this laid the groundwork for that.
It'll be that's a dream come true. If I see them announce at any point 2021, 2022 a Luke show, and that's it for me. Like you don't got to do another Star Wars movie. I don't give a damn. Like if you do the show and you tell me what happened between now and episode what is it? 9? Was it what is it? Oh, the
episode 9, Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah. Between all, if you just tell me what happens between, after we saw Return of the Jedi and the end of the last trilogy with Luke, and you give me some like kind of history on him and showing him be badass like he was in the last episode, and I'm good. So if they do get Sebastian Stan, like I said, that's a dream cast. Like that's Boss Logic is pretty much doing all this where he's fan casting everybody anyway, and they're getting these roles. So hopefully it comes through.
Right.
And I will say, before we get off Star Wars, move on to the next point. I want to give credit to the person, the channel that I watched this on. Are you familiar with Star Wars Theory?
Yes, I am.
So I watch a lot of his stuff because he just comes up with a lot of interesting theories, and sometimes he has information that a little bit of stuff before we do. He actually saw the Mandalorian before everybody else got a chance to see it.
Oh,
I watched the video. Yeah, he got it. I think he got it like a week or two, and they sent it to him. I guess because they know that he does all the videos and stuff, so they sent it to him early. He didn't really watch it until a couple days before we all saw it, but he was talking about it on his channel. And another huge character that I like is probably to round out my top 5 would be Mace Windu. Like I've always thought Mace Windu was a badass, and then getting a chance to just read more into his character, since we didn't really see much more of him after episode 3. Seeing like reading stuff about him and why his lightsaber it is what it is, and that he used the light and the dark side of the Force. Like I've always been interested in his character and hoping that they would go more in depth into Mace Windu, like at some point.
Right.
He ain't getting any younger, Samuel Jackson, so they need to go ahead and do something as soon as possible. But dude on Star Wars Theory was saying that the new Boba Fett series, or even just the Mandalorian, could be a way to possibly bring him back, because they were saying it's possible that he was the one that saved Grogu at the Jedi before Anakin got there. It's possible that he saved him, and they had a nice little tie-in at the end with bringing Boba Fett back, and they were saying that wouldn't it be crazy if, like, at the end of the book of Boba Fett or whatever, Mace Windu was already back by that point, but at the end of that series or show or whatever, that Boba Fett gets his revenge on Mace Windu for killing his dad in the Clone Wars. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, it's like, like little stuff like that. But they're saying that bringing Mace Windu in as the one that kind of got Grogu out of there, and then we don't really know what happened to Grogu between Anakin killing all the kids, and so it'll be cool to bring him back and kind of tell his story, like what happened after Anakin betrayed him or whatever. So.
All right, that would be very interesting. I think there's definitely a story with that. To me, to be honest, when I think about it, what kind of story does this Boba Fett show want to tell that wants to keep someone like me watching, so I guess I could see something like that, to be honest. So that sounds like legit. That sounds legit. I could see that actually happening. So
that's what I said. I was like because we were just talking about the other day when we did our first podcast of why the Mandalorian is good and what we expected or what we would like to see in the show for it to continue, and them bringing Luke in just blew everybody's mind, and that's kind of stuff I was looking for. So if they do something like that for the Book of Boba Fett, bring back Mace Windu, that brings the Jedi factor into the show, still allows them to focus on Boba Fett, but then it gives us that Jedi lore in the show also.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
This year, December.
Yep. We will see. Next thing, moving over to DC. DC got a lot going on. Got a lot going on right now. We'll get into the Batman stuff in a minute, but the first thing we're gonna go over, Jay, I know you can talk a little bit about this, is Ray Fisher, the actor who played Cyborg in Justice League, has decided that he's basically leaving the DC film universe, if I'm correct. That he's leaving the Flash film, and that he won't be a part of any more movies in the DCEU. So, Jay, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. See, we're getting conflicting reports as of late. At first, it was reported that he stepped down, but now he's coming out and stating that he didn't step down, and I guess he's trying to say that Warner Brothers has taken him out, and that this was not his choice. And there, if you got the listeners, if you don't have any knowledge about this issue that's been going on, Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, has come out. I think I want to say, was it this year? 2020. He came out and was and brought up an issue that he was having on the Justice League set, where Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon were being unprofessional, and it is still kind of vague on the exact details on what happened on the set. I know Jason Momoa backed him on it and came out publicly and backed him on it, but we still don't have like the specific details. I mean, as far as we know, is that Joss Whedon was I don't know, apparently he was treating people as if they weren't shit, I guess. So, and talking to people and just in kind of way as if he was king. I don't, like, it's very vague. So it's very vague. There's not like a clear issue, but an investigation was initiated by Warner Brothers, where Ray Fisher has come out and said over 80 people were interviewed and kind of backed what he was saying. And from that point on, it was in doubt heavily on whether Ray Fisher would be Cyborg, or whether Jeff Johns, who is one of the writers and producers, would be coming back, and whether Joss Whedon would be doing anything. I don't know if I know Joss Whedon came back only to help the Justice League movie after Zack Snyder left, because Zack Snyder's daughter had committed suicide, and and so he had that big issue, and he had to leave the Justice League set. So, but yeah, so this has just been going on for a while, and Ray Fisher doesn't play, man. He's all on Twitter, and he's putting it out there so everybody can see. I think he's trying to make sure that their Warner Bros. PR team doesn't try to make him to seem like something he's not. So he's keeping it real on Twitter all the time, and apparently apparently he states on his Twitter that Warner Media is supposed to be parting ways with Joss Whedon, and apparently Jeff Johns will also be leaving Warner Media. So yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff going on, and now they're trying to decide on whether he's going to be in the Flash. We're hearing conflicting reports with that, because he was supposed to cameo in the Flash movie that has had its own problems. Honestly, is just ridiculous. But he was supposed to cameo in that movie, and now apparently he's being written out. He's saying he wants to be in it. He didn't say he didn't want to be in it. So it's just this ongoing, Twitter war and war between him and Warner Bros. Man, it's just kind of going off the rails right now.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they're gonna do. Like, if they're gonna actually come out and say exactly what happened, because like you said, it was kind of murky from the beginning. He didn't really go into too much detail. I will say I wish that his character was better. He seems like a cool dude. I wasn't a super fan of his character in the movie. I guess that can go off of just maybe whatever Joss Whedon did when he came in to finish the film. So hopefully when we see Zack Snyder's version, they give a better, it shines a better light on him and his character and how he played Cyborg in the movie, because I wasn't too impressed with Cyborg. I don't know about you, but I was just like, okay, well, it's cool that he's in there. I'm glad it's a black dude, but he's not really, But it was okay. I was always kind of iffy on the hire anyway, but it is what it is. Whenever you give a black dude a chance to do anything, I'm supporting 100%. So
right.
Hopefully, in the Zack Snyder cut that comes out, he has more to do, and we get a chance to see him actually utilize the character skills, and we get a chance to see his acting chops or whatever. So
right,
we'll see.
And we do know that a lot of his scenes had gotten cut from the Justice League movie. So with the HBO Max release of the Snyder cut, I believe that we will see a lot more. But still, I agree with you. His character wasn't really fleshed out in the movie per se. So, and to be honest, that doesn't really help him, the actor, his career, because Ray Fisher, he comes from a theater background. He's not really. This was like his first, full length feature movie where he had a big role, and it did not stand out at all. And I did not like his booyah, by the way. His booyah was weak. Come on, man.
I was just about to get into that, but you got to do it before I could. I was going to say he messed up the best part of the best line, which, going back and reading an article, they said that he didn't even really want to say that. He thought that it was kind of childish for them to bring that into the movie, even though it was a part of, it's basically a part of the show, of the cartoon show that we watch. Cyborg saying that, like, that's Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? Like, for him to say he didn't want to do it, I was like, bro, you need to chill. Like, I know, like, you need to relax. That's Cyborg. So,
I've heard stuff like that in other movies where you have actors that they don't feel like it's stupid to say specific lines and stuff like that the characters say. You gotta understand that this is a character that was already invented. Everyone knows him from the books, from the comics. This is how he was written. This is his personality. This is the stuff that he does. It's like you can't have a Batman that doesn't say, "I'm Batman." We know that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you can't be like, "Well, I don't want to say that." That is something that's just part of the character. You can't just come in there and just be like, I think it's childish. I hope it's really nothing stupid like that, to be honest.
Yeah, like you said, it's cool that you want to bring, your artistic chops to the character. You want to do, show how you would play him, and that's cool. But like you said, the character has been established for lots of years before you touch this character, and we know how Cyborg acts. Like not only from the TV show, from reading the comics, like he acts a certain way. And so if you come in and you kind of play him totally different, or you don't want to say an iconic line by that character, you just gotta chill, man. Like, I mean, it's the character.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel you. Like I said, hopefully he'll get a chance to show his acting chops more, and with the more scenes he's gonna get, since this movie's gonna be like 4 hours long apparently. So, I mean, I'm down for it. Like, I totally am.
I think they're cutting in parts, though. I think that's what they said.
Yeah. I have no issues with Zack Snyder. I thought Man of Steel was amazing, honestly, and I was hoping for another one. But we're still getting these Wonder Woman movies, which leads us and segues perfectly into Wonder Woman 84. So we're going to get two different views on this movie. Me and Jay have both watched it. We both have our opinions. I think it's a perfect segue into Wonder Woman 84 because, in my opinion, that movie was trash. Let's just be honest. That's all what it is. I don't feel. Let's just say this on EJ and Jay's podcast, or on the show here on the SHU Program. We're not going to sugarcoat things for y'all. So I'm gonna tell you my opinion, and honestly, they could have just left this movie in the trash. I think that me and Jay talked about Patty Jenkins. She actually wrote this film, not only directed it, but she wrote it. That was a mistake. Should have just kept directing. This movie had wild inconsistencies that don't match up with stuff in the comics, and she's just giving these characters. I hate the way that Diana gets her powers now, like the way that they're doing certain stuff, like we talked about with the invisible jet and her learning how to fly. Like when you read the comics, those powers come from specific things, and they have good backstories to how she gets them. Right. Now it just feels like whenever Diana feels like she needs a new power, oh, let me tap into the power of love, or let me tap into the power of this, and I can all of a sudden fly. Like, bro, chill out. Like that's not how it works. Like, go tell some actual backstory. Use your brain and tell an actual story of how someone can conceive or to get a power from somewhere. So I was like, man, I was kind of out of it with that. And then the movie just dragged on. Like I don't fall asleep in movies a lot. Like I probably can count the number of times that I've fallen asleep on a movie, like watching it for the first time. Probably 3 times. 2 of them was when I was a kid. And one of them was the other day, Wonder Woman 84. I fell asleep for about 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of that movie. It was going super slow. There was no need for the movie to start off like that. It's just the storytelling was just lazy, in my opinion. I don't know, and it just. I'm a Pedro Pascal fan. Obviously, we watched The Mandalorian. I also think he's been in. He's good. But I did not like Maxwell Lord character that much.
It's 9:00.
And then when we get into like what's happening with him, and the wishes, and him just automatically knowing where this artifact is, and the audience not knowing anything else, like how do we know that he just knows where the artifact is? Like where'd that come from? And then when he gets the powers, like. And spoiler alert for anybody watching the movie, but when we get to the end and we're seeing that everybody basically in the world can grant a wish, which was stupid for them to even go down that road, because it's hard for you to retcon that and go back and say, okay, well, now it's time for the whole world to say they don't want the powers anymore. We all know damn well that out of 7 billion people on this planet, there's a good chunk of them that's gonna keep their powers or keep whatever they got from their wishes. Like, we're still gonna mess stuff up going to the future. So the writing was lazy. How they did everything just didn't add up, and it's just a movie to me that just shouldn't have been made. Period.
Right. I respect your opinion, and for the most part, I agree with you. You know, my thoughts on the movie kind of changed. I thought here's what I will give it points on. Like I told you before, I love the setting in the 1980s. I really did feel like whoever, you know, the production design and the feel for it was great. I really did feel like, you know, I was in the 80s, and I thought that was great. I did. First of all, you got some great talent on here. You have Pedro Pascal. You have what's her name? I lost her name. Who plays Cheetah?
Gal Gadot.
Not Gal Gadot. Cheetah. What'd you say? Kristen Wiig. I don't know why I couldn't think of her name, but yeah, Kristen Wiig. And you just all this talent that I thought would have been perfect, and it just kind of didn't work, only because the story didn't allow it to work. And like I said, I thought it was an average movie, but it's not better than the first movie. There's a couple of issues. That at first I didn't really care about, and I thought it didn't really hurt the movie until I kind of gave it a little bit of deep thought later. And like you were talking about how the whole invisibility thing, like she just came up with the power to make the whole plane invisible. And my father Zeus, he could make islands and worlds invisible. So I've been playing around with it, trying to figure out how I can do it. And she's over there making a Kamehameha wave, and then turns the whole plane invisible. It's just you can't just make stuff convenient for you when you want it to. You know, I like the throwback because I was always wondering if they were ever going to do something, not just the movie, but whenever Wonder Woman comes around in any kind of form, whether it was the Justice League TV show or any of the animated movies, would they ever do the whole idea of the invisible plane, which is kind of, when you think about it, it's kind of stupid anyway. but I was always wondering how that would be implemented. I think I liked how they implemented it in this movie. It just, how she was able to have that power, that wasn't explained, and it didn't make sense. So that was the only problem with that. Bruh, let's hear another big. Okay, two things. Number one, how did Maxwell Lord know anything about the Wishing Stone? You know, from his first introduction in the movie. Spoilers, by the way. This is spoilers for if you haven't seen Wonder Woman. It's been out for a while now, so too bad. Turn it off if you didn't hear it. But how did Maxwell enter the movie? His first introduction is the movie. He already knows what the Wishing Stone is, and for some reason he knows that Kristen Wiig's and character and Wonder Woman's antiquities business, you know, he knows that they have it. So that's not explained how he knows anything about that. So that's kind of a plot hole that's never explained at all. Number two, why didn't when Wonder Woman wished Steve Trevor back, why didn't he just come back? Why did he just take over some dude's body? But even then, I guess his mind or his soul just got into somebody else's body, and he was just inside this other man. So, but the way the movie played it, was Wonder Woman is seeing the other guy with Steve Trevor in the body, but we're seeing from our view the guy is Steve Trevor. And I'm like, it doesn't even have to be that complicated. Just bring him back.
Bring him back, right? That doesn't even make sense for you to tell that story like that. Like, if you're gonna make up power that she can just make planes invisible, I'm pretty sure you can find a way to bring Steve Trevor back for real. Like,
right. That just didn't. I'm curious, and that's never explained why he just didn't come back. Why that doesn't make any sense. Why everybody is getting all their everyone's getting all their wishes, everybody else getting their wishes, but for some reason Wonder Woman's wishes, the one that's half baked.
Right, the main character of the story. You get to have big wishes.
Right. I also know that people are having like issues with the whole Wonder Woman is supposed to be this feminine hero, and she's for the woman, and she can't move on without this dude, and she has to wish him back. And doesn't this like set her character back? First of all, I want to address this. To me, she's still a feminist character, or whatever. She's still going to be that woman character, that woman lead, and the hero for the women that we all know and love. But I had no issue with the idea of her trying to bring back the love of her fucking life. Excuse my language.
Right.
That like at that point, the political stuff that has nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She was in love with this guy, and this guy sacrificed his life, for the greater good. And nobody wants that. She wants to be happy, and she was in love with this guy, and she lost him. So I see nothing wrong with somebody wanting to bring back their loved one. That has nothing that doesn't, why did she have to bring it back? She needs a man, and this and that. I'm like, y'all looking too deep into it. It's not all of that.
She had everything else. She had superpowers. She's Wonder Woman. Like, she has everything. The only thing that she doesn't have is the love of her life.
Right.
So, like you said, why would you not want to bring that person back, whether it be man or woman? Come on, let's be real.
Exactly. So, of course, the feminists are going to come out and say stuff about that and try to, make it an issue. It's not an issue. Anybody would do that. Like you said, woman or man, we would bring back the loved one if you lost somebody. If we all have loved ones that we would love to bring back, especially if your wife or your husband died. You would want to bring it back. So,
partner, right.
Right.
Come on now.
So, it's a wishing stone. So, Patty Jenkins need to kind of step it back a little bit on the writing part. Let somebody else pen this new one, because I like Wonder Woman. I like Gal Gadot. I think we need strong woman characters. That's why I'm excited for the Black Widow movie. I can't wait for that to come out. But we can't have these movies where we have female leads in these weak stories. And
I think you hit it on the head, because it seems like all these movies that are coming out with female leads, they're just getting like weaker stories for some reason. And it's like, just tell the story like you would tell it if it was a dude. It's that simple.
Right.
So they're trying to be all extra and trying to like, oh, let's make it like this, and it's got to be like, bro, just make the story and tell the story. We know who Wonder Woman is. We know who Black Widow is. You have a chance to come in and just tell a great story. Just tell the story. Stop trying to cater to like a certain group, or trying to do something. Just tell the story.
Right.
That's it. Or like we know the story is, and just update it for 2021. That's it.
Right. I also say too, like you also mentioned how the villains were kind of weak. I was actually excited for the introduction of Cheetah, because I growing up watching the Justice League show, I would see her all the time going back to back with Wonder Woman. So I was excited to see her. But Maxwell Lord is supposed to be the main villain, and a lot of people complain about the action. There not being enough action in this movie, and I think they missed a perfect opportunity with Maxwell Lord, because why wouldn't this dude wish for powers or something like that? Where you give Wonder Woman a fight.
Right.
And people were making jokes. She was fighting with his voice. You have a wish. And she over there trying to get to him, and the wind is and the papers are flying around the whole room and stuff, and they're pushing her back against the wall. So yeah, man, they gotta do better than that. They gotta do better than that. I would have to me, if I was directing that movie, I would have took out Maxwell Lord. I'm not, and this is no jab at Pedro Pascal. We know he's great, Mandalorian. But if I was to, well, I don't want to direct a woman movie because that takes away from women, female directors or whatever. But I'm just saying, if I was a woman, I would want the main villain to be a woman. And I think Cheetah should have been the main villain, and they should have incorporated that story with them two. You would have two strong, powerful female characters fighting in that movie, and it would just, that's that you got to utilize these stories and take the opportunities where it is. So it just wasn't.
You could have went into the backstory more of Barbara Minerva and told more about Cheetah. You know what I mean? Like you said, I felt like they wasted opportunities with her, and they're talking about, they're going to explain it and explain some more of it in Wonder Woman 3. I'm like, well, you ain't had to do all that. Just tell me what happened in Wonder Woman 2. Like, don't say anything. Go all out. Tell me the story. Tell me the backstory on her. Go all out. Like in this movie, don't try to add on too many villains when you don't need to. Because superhero movies that do that, and they try to add all these different villains, bro. Focus on one villain that's just really interesting, really good, that you can tell a story around. If you captivate me with just that one villain, I don't need 2-3 villains for you to go through an entire movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, save that for like a Justice League movie. We don't need that for just a Wonder Woman movie. Just focus on one character. And then two, the thing at the end with Barbara Minerva or Cheetah, did she renounce her wish? Because I don't think she did. The way she was trying to fight for it so hard, and then at the end of the movie, she didn't have her powers anymore. So, what's up with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a lot of plot holes, man. A lot of plot holes. A lot of stuff ain't making sense. That's why I had to kind of rethink it when we were talking about it, man. I was like, you got a point. Yeah, man. It's kind of hard to believe that she would give up and undo her wish, and I don't know. She
went through the wrong playbook of script writing, basically.
She went to Ryan Johnson, right?
Yeah, that's with Ryan Johnson. Like, you got his playbook on how to write a script, and bro, you failed. I will say you failed. So if it isn't true that she is supposed to be writing the third one, she needs to relinquish those rights immediately and let them actually hire someone who is good at writing, please.
Right. So we'll see. She got like you said, she's supposed to be doing the third one, and hey, well, please just come out with let somebody else write it. We'll see.
Yep. Actually, just give us a Superman 2, man. Just to say that. Give me those Superman movies, then you can go back and do Wonder Woman 3. All right.
I also add for the Superman fans out there like EJ, because Man of Steel was a great film. I don't give a damn what nobody says. I agree with you. Man of Steel was a great film and probably my favorite Superman film of all time.
Well, hold on, before you go on, hold on. Let's get this straight for the audience. I am not a Superman fan like that. I actually am not truly a Superman fan in real life. I just thought that Man of Steel's movie was very good in how they did it. They were true to the comics. Like, I like Superman, but we'll get into that. That's another story for another time. But I'm not a superhero. I'm not a Superman fan like that. But continue.
Yeah. So it was reported that apparently Henry Cavill has signed on for 3 more films to appear as Superman. Now, whether that's going to be any of those films are going to be, sequels to Man of Steel or not, or just Justice League movies or cameos, we don't know. But hopefully, at least one of those films is a proper sequel to Man of Steel, because it was like you said, it's a great movie.
Yep, great movie. And then I guess to round out today's episode, been a lot of controversy going on, kind of like we talked about earlier with some other DC projects, but the whole Batman scene. And who's going to play Batman, who's in the movies, what movies they're going to be in. That's been a real topic of discussion lately. We had heard originally that Michael Keaton was reprising his role as Batman again. Then we heard at a later date that Ben Affleck was also coming back, which was good because I feel, at least me, I felt that he was an underrated Batman. I think they just didn't really give him the material he needed in Justice League. But I felt that in Batman vs Superman, he actually wasn't that bad. So good to see him, or good to hear that the rumors that he's coming back. And then obviously we have Robert Pattinson playing in the Batman movie also. So 3 Batmans, 3 possible movies, or a possible movie with another team up with another Batman. So there was a lot of speculation going on as to how they would all fit and where they would fit at. It was reported that all three of them were coming in. Then just the other day on Monday, I heard that Ben Affleck had dropped out again. And they said he wasn't going to be in. Then today, the information saying, well, he actually is going to be in. So, Jay, how do you feel about them having three Batmans on at the same time in two universes?
It's ridiculous. Number one, it's ridiculous. First of all, y'all know I'm the resident Batman fan here, man. And first off, the whole Robert Pattinson Batman film was, I believe that was only started because of Ben Affleck had stepped down from his Batman movie that he was going to do when he was developing his solo Batman movie, which everybody from the reports said was great. It was a great script. And when he stepped down, then they decided to go a different route and bring this Robert Pattinson in. But now you guys are changing your mind. Oh, we want to go ahead and do, something with your Bat. Again, Warner Bros. They do not know what they're doing. Take the place from what's going on with Marvel, man. Put somebody in charge of this, because it's not working. It's just ridiculous, man. And now, these recent reports that you just stated, they're going to try to do something with the Flash movie now, where with supposedly all three of these Batmans are going to intersect at some point. It just hurts my brain. It's just what are we doing?
They're trying to tap into the multiverse.
Yeah, but you trying to tap in, you only doing the multiverse because you effed up. So, because at first the Flash movie wasn't the first reports of the Flash movie was supposed to be adapting the Paradox storyline, right? Flashpoint or whatever it was.
Yep.
And yes, you were supposed to have a Thomas Wayne Batman, and then everybody was talking about old boy who plays what's his name from The Walking Dead, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan played Thomas Wayne in Batman vs Superman, and when the Flash movie got announced and they were going to adapt the Flashpoint storyline, they were talking about having him come back to play the Thomas Wayne version of Batman, and nothing developed off that. And then either they're rewriting the script and stuff like that, and then you have Ezra Miller's Flash appearing on the TV show Flash. Is it
right?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Please, come on. I'm to me, it's almost as if this Flash movie is a myth.
Right. We ain't heard nothing concrete about it at all.
Right, because if it's taking this long to develop this film, y'all, I don't, man. The interest, man, I don't know, man. I'm not, to be honest, I don't even care if the movie comes out or not. Right now, I'm just waiting. Just waiting. When it finally come out, it comes out. Then we'll go from there. But on the Batman thing, man, it's just ridiculous, and it sucks that we couldn't get an appropriate Batman film because Batman vs Superman left a lot of pathways. I'm not gonna say plot holes. It just we thought we would see some kind of continuance of certain storylines in other films, like the whole thing with Robin dying and stuff like that from the Joker. And we thought we would actually get some answers in a future film, but now we most likely will never see that. And
right,
it sucks. So, man, it's hey, the Batman film with Robert Pattinson looks like it's gonna be good though. I will say that the trailer did blow me away. So at this time, I'm just gonna take what I can get.
And for those who don't know, we have reports, once again not confirmed, but reports that Robert Pattinson's Batman will take place on Earth 2, while supposedly Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck's Batman takes place on Earth 1. So I don't know how that happens because, I mean, they're both Batman once again. So we'll see, I guess. We'll see. But
Yep.
yeah.
And don't forget though, also the rumors, because with the Michael Keaton casting or whatever, we also heard rumors of a possible Batman Beyond movie. So
now that's the best news to come out of all of this, because me personally, Batman Beyond to the TV show, well, that's one of the best DC properties ever. Like, that was just gratefully done. The characters were great. So if they find a way to bring that to the big screen, that's gonna be a blockbuster, in my opinion.
Hey, they were trying to do, Warner Bros. Was trying to do a Batman Beyond film before Batman Begins, and before they got Christopher Nolan on, and then they decided not to do it and just to go with a younger Batman, just do a Batman origin story, which I thought was the right call, because we never got to see a live action origin story for the Batman. And, you know, Batman had already been established every film for every movie he was in for the most part, so it was great. You got the Dark Knight trilogy out of it, but I think they could have went ahead with the Batman Beyond film over this, you know, this new Batman film with Robert Pattinson. To be honest, like, I know I'm excited to see it, but still, I'm like, that would have been the best time if you weren't going to go with the Ben Affleck movie, to go ahead and just adapt Batman Beyond. So, oh man, you know, I guess we'll see.
We will see. Bring him being old Batman, though. That's perfect to me. Like that. I think Michael Keaton coming back, good way to tie things in and bring things full circle. You know. So, yeah.
Right. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Keaton Batman.
I'm not either. I guess that's more so. I think we've had so many good Batmans. Well, not so many. We've had one or two good Batmans in our lifetimes, to where we've gotten used to these people being Batman. And then, you know, the early 90s, late 80s, when Batman came out with Michael Keaton, it was kind of like a cheesy take on Batman because it was Tim Burton.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how he would do with good writing, and, you know, him being more like a mentor role now anyway than him actually being Batman. So
I just can't. I'm like, I try to picture. I just can't see him playing like old Bruce Wayne from like Batman Beyond. I just don't see that in him. Like, I can see that with Christian Bale. Like... Huh? He does not. He does not look like him at all.
You don't think that old ass Michael Keaton can play old Batman from Batman Beyond?
No, I don't.
Too bad Shreve's too freaked out to testify against that weasel.
Maybe when his hearing comes back. If it ever does.
Tell me something. Why were you so sure those voices weren't coming from you?
Well, first, I know I'm not psychotic.
I hope your other reason's more convincing.
And second, the voice kept calling me Bruce. In my mind, that's not what I call myself.
What do you call yourself?
There's just different mannerisms. The way he talks is just they're just not the same. I think Christian Bale.
Nobody talks like Batman from Batman. No one talks like Homeboy. No one talks like Kevin Conroy.
Well, of course, but I'm just saying, like, even not with the voice, but I just think that to me, because Michael Keaton is not like, I don't see Batman in him when I watch him. I don't think he's a great Batman. I don't think he's a great Bruce Wayne. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne. I just don't think he's a great Batman. It's hard for me to see him being like so serious, because remember in the beginning of Batman Beyond, like Bruce is like an old bitter man, you know, at the time. And he's like angry and grouchy, and I just don't see that out of Michael Keaton.
I don't know. He's okay as old boy in Marvel. He's okay as both of them. So we'll see, bro. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, that's all we really have for today, man. Kept it short, kept it sweet. Got into some good things. But yeah, some good information.
Yep. So next time.
Yep. Don't forget, like and subscribe. All things SHU Program. And we'll be back on the next episode.
Yep. Happy New Year, fellas. Be cool.
Happy New Year.